Kawhi Leonard is back in the news. Man, Pablo Torre is on a nice run right now. Welcome to the
on a heater, baby.
Sixers Podcast, live from the Xfinity Lounge here, presented by Rothman and Ford. He is on a heater, Kyle. So the update now, after getting a lot of pushback on his initial reporting, what was it, last week? This all came out.
Time has no meaning in the offseason.
You're absolutely right. You're right. My
last
bad.
Week or two.
You know what, folks? Let's just stop the show because of that. But no, listen, again, he's like, oh, okay, you calling out what I reported? I see all you other publications saying this about that, and Mark Cuban comes on the show later to debate him about all of these
Adam
things.
Silver makes a public statement alluding to the fact that, it's going to take a pretty high bar to clear to...
Then we see things kind of supporting it, though, from the Toronto side of individual reporting about, yes, this is what happened out here. Some more Clippers things, other reports from other publications saying that, yeah, NBA teams do things like this, even for a lot less money. Yeah. But that being said, Kyle, with this one, more stuff just continues to pile up with the Kawhi Leonard story, because the latest from Pablo Torre is, yeah, let me go get some more info how this company went bankrupt. Uncle Dennis made a phone call. Personnel was fired, but they still found that late payment.
So the basic gist of the latest round of reporting was Aspiration which is the tree planting company that has gone global. They've accomplished more in marketing now after going bankrupt than they did when they were paying Iron Man to do commercials for them. So they're having financial trouble in 2022. We're looking for paths forward. And Kawhi Leonard was scheduled to get a $1.75 million payment that it was not clear. In fact, I don't believe they had the funds to make that payment. Normally, this would be something that if you're a company in financial trouble, you probably say, I don't know that paying Kawhi Leonard for his no-show job, almost $2 million, is a big priority. Well, around that same time in December of 2022, Dennis Wong, who is he's a minority owner of the Clippers. I believe he's the only minority partner.
At 1%.
1%. Ballmer owns 99%. So very notable that he sends a just under $2 million investment in Aspiration, or to Aspiration, that just so happens to coincide with this time that Kawhi needs to be paid and they are facing financial difficulties. And this, to me, there are a lot more details to go into that's worth probably watching Pablo himself. But I think a lot of the dialogue from people who cover the league or the public league stances up to this point, where this all looks bad, but I don't know if there's a smoking gun. I don't know if there's a main piece of evidence that will steer the NBA into punishing them. To me, this fits the category of a smoking gun, right? Like, this looks a lot closer to, this just is evidence that this happened or is happening or was happening, and gets a lot of the league a lot closer, other owners a lot closer, people who are going to weigh in with the commissioner a lot closer to saying there needs to be some real punishment here. Because even if it's only an optics problem, at this point, the league is facing a severe optics problem if they don't do anything around this. If it just does become, hey, they fine them $5 million or they take away something trivial, I think the biggest outstanding question is how severely and how do they punish the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard for all this?
Yeah. It's worth just remembering like how absurd it is for Kawhi to get a payment at this point. This was the second of 4 payments for the year. The day he got the payment was, I believe, literally the same day that they had firings of C-suite executives and 20% of their workforce. The same day they give a $1.75 million payment to a guy who has never done anything in support of the company. And when you add in all of this stuff, the initial $28 million, the extra $20 million that was uncovered after that, this $2 million payment, literally a week after getting that $2 million from a Clippers minority owner, this is not a situation where the NBA has to, it's not a legal situation where it has to be incontrovertible proof.
Right.
this is, I forget exactly if you go back into the CBA and the verbiage of the CBA, but it is like, it can be as little as unexplainable payments. Like it has just something that you cannot logically explain. And there's almost no way you can logically explain a guy getting, $28 million, $7 million a year while giving no value to a company that is going under. Like there's just the burden of proof here is so low and there's so little logic behind any of it. It would be tough to escape this one, it feels like.
Especially with the fact that 1% owner from, the other Dennis in this situation, in this story, where he kind of bails him out for this one because they cannot make payment, and he is the one that is...
And bails him out, Devon, by the way, at a time when Pablo interviewed a former employee who said, this is not a rational investment someone would make at the time.
Yeah.
Right? And part of the defense from Steve Ballmer and people who are connected to him has been, he's a really smart guy. If he was doing something below board here, he would have kept throwing money hand over fist to make the problem go away. Well, this looks like an example of the Clippers trying to make something go away. Like, hey, you're struggling and Kawhi's not going to get paid. Let's just keep capital investment, baby. Just keep churning through some money. It looks really bad. I can't sit here and tell you if this is deliberate cap circumvention. I can tell you it looks like a duck. Quacks like a duck. It might be a duck.
And also there's multiple people with that company saying this was cap circumvention in no uncertain terms. And allegedly both those people that Pablo has had on have talked to the federal investigators as well.
This stuff is crazy. So after the initial story, when we discussed it on our show, we were talking about punishment, as you mentioned, and we were a little skeptical on how things would be punished, whether it was just a fine for Steve Ballmer. Mm-hmm. Is he going to be banned from games for the first week of the season or something like that, or just being in the building? We also talked about Kawhi Leonard. Would there be any punishment? We didn't know what it would look like, but like you mentioned a little bit earlier today in this one, now it seems like this is the one that really might get them because of this initial story where, hey man, somehow you guys have to fix this. Somebody has to be punished. And if it's not just us talking about it, it's the rest of the league and them having this advantage where we don't know that 29 other teams are not doing this, but we don't know anything except for what this is. But something has to happen, or this cannot just be all right, we talked about it, we had a meeting, and let's just move on and get the season started. They can't wait for the season to get started, but this is clearly not going away.
And to your point, Devon, you brought up early on, like other people have reported, Howard Beck at The Ringer did a story on, there are arrangements where guys have gotten, let's say, $150K sponsorship deal and actually did something for that company, right? Not a no-show job, but in the case of cap circumvention, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. And Bill Simmons today, or within the last couple of days, has said he thinks this is something that is way more prevalent, and that the fact that people are scrutinizing it shows an ignorance of how common this is. Like, I don't believe that, right? You could make me buy the idea that little deals, smaller deals happen often, right? I think that's logical.
This was more money than his New Balance shoe deal.
Yeah. We're talking about $50 million when all in between everything he was getting, right? I do not believe that companies are just lining up to, on the behalf of an NBA team or in connection to an NBA team, they're pulling $50 million endorsement deals out of thin air, right? And the other noteworthy thing, even if we believe that were the case, the other people didn't get caught for it.
Right.
Like you can't charge someone with a crime if they haven't gotten caught. You can't be like, hey, if it was the Celtics, for example, like, hey, I think Jason Tatum is getting funneled money from like some hospital in Boston or whatever. Like, okay, well, you have to prove that. Someone would have to provide documents and evidence and text messages or emails or whatever it would be, right? In this instance, the reason this is a story, the reason the league is going to have to act is not because everyone thinks, hey, Kawhi Leonard's the only person who got money from an outside organization in a shady way. It's because it's a grotesque amount of money compared to what we think those deals normally look like. And because there's evidence of it happening, right?
Yeah.
If this story was not public, if it was not documented, sure, then we wouldn't be talking about it in the first place. You can't have it become this national story and then just pretend it didn't happen. That's not, people will lose trust in you as an entity, as an organization, and that erodes the amount they want to spend on the league and just time they would want to spend on the league.
The NBA isn't going to punish circumvention only if they can punish all instances of circumvention.
Yes.
That's not what they're looking to do. What they're looking to do is punish circumvention so that it changes future behavior and fixes the perception of the league. If there is provable circumvention going on, you don't punish it, you're emboldening people to do it more in the future, and you're bringing into question the integrity of your league. I want to go back to something I said on what the basic bar is that they have to clear in order to punish a team. A violation of basically circumvention above may be proven by direct or circumstantial evidence, including but not limited to evidence that a player, contract, or any term or provision thereof cannot rationally be explained in the absence of conduct in violation of that section. That cannot rationally be explained by any other way. Yeah. That's a very low bar to clear. It's very low. This isn't a legal case here. Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a legal case in the Fed investigation.
That's separate from the conversation we're having.
Yeah,
I'm not sitting here trying to try Steve Ballmer an aspiration for fraud or whatever, but I am worried about what this does for the NBA. Like, the other thing is, okay, let's say they do sweep it under the rug and they don't punish them, or it's like a slap on the wrist. Hey, we fine you $10 million, $5 million, whatever it is. What is to stop other teams from just saying, we'll do this with better companies, right? We'll funnel money through some shell company and we'll partner with like some big insurance firm that will never fail.
Or maybe Fanatics.
You said it, not me. Whoever it would be, right? Just companies that are not some fraudulent tree company. Now, maybe they would not want to get caught up in this type of thing. Yeah. But just in theory, there is nothing to stop other teams from saying, if this public and this big of a just slap in the face to the rules is ignored, or we all have to pretend like rules are not being circumvented here, then it's just open season, right? Mm-hmm. There does have to be some form of like, we are setting an example to make sure other teams don't do this.
Yeah. Wild story, everybody. Let us know what you think, of course, in the chat, and we'll get back to you, because it doesn't seem like this one is done. There's more. Pablo Torre, again, is on a run. He's not going to stop.
He's going to find out.
You doubted him, and now he's going to keep going. That's why I'm not doing anything except for just doing the show. All right, everybody, we appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to the show. And when you do, hit that like button. As always, hit that like button, hit the bell icon so you know when things are happening, as Kyle always likes to say. And Derek hits the bell to let you know what it sounds like when it is showtime. We'll talk to you on Monday at 3 p.m.